don't want to be a guy who's signed to the roster in April and not going to be there at all.
He picks me up and throws me on top of the pile. And I said, yeah, I ain't messing with him no more.
I fell in love with this game when I was 5 years old, and I wanted to get that love back.
Jalen acted like he was going to juke me and tried to run me over, so I was mad the rest of practice.
It was a ghost sighting in the corner of a room.
Me and others said stuff in the media. How did you take that? All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Not Just Football. Me, I'm Cam. That's Hayden. And that's DK. Really cool guy. And the old guy, Aaron Rodgers. What's up?
Hey.
How you doing?
What up? Good. How you doing?
Man. Thanks for finally having me on.
Finally having you on?
Yeah, finally.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you guys. You just want to jump right in? And...
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Well, I have to apologize. I guess my words were taken out of context when I asked you, or when I said if you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or not. How did you feel about that?
I was hurt. Yeah, I was hurt. You didn't reach out, and you just wanted to make a statement in the media. You had a preconceived notion of who I was, obviously.
I did.
And how has that changed over the past few months?
It's been good.
Yeah, okay.
I'll say. Mm-hmm. You came to my cookout. You came to my golf outing. I appreciate that.
I did.
I will say it all stems back from last year. We go up to the coin toss, and I'm saying hi and everything. He's like, how old are you? I'm like, this right here. Just right off the bat, just asked me how old I am. Like, he's a spring chicken.
Because you got more grays than I do.
Oh, you got some grays on top.
I know you're still painting the top, but...
No, just because you got just for men. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't paint.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's jump right.
Let's start now.
Yep. Let's start now.
Yep.
What's this connection like? What's it like having Aaron Rodgers, and what's it like having DK Metcalf?
Was it like having DK Metcalf or Aaron Rodgers?
What's it like having Aaron Rodgers as quarterback? Right
I mean, no, it's great. I will say it's been a fun journey just to get to know him as a person off the field. I mean, the guy gets a lot of shit for no reason in my eyes. I mean, he's been nothing but nice.
Yeah, I did some of it. Yeah.
I mean, but it's none of their business, for real. You ain't do nothing to nobody.
Very true.
But like I said, man, it's been great just to get to know him. And then on the field, he's all world. So I'm just happy to be along for the ride, be along to be a part of his journey.
I like what you said. It's a great way to get him to throw you the ball.
It is. That is. It really is. I haven't had a guy like DK, I would say, in my career. I've had some taller receivers, but DK's got a unique skill set. I would say the one thing I appreciate maybe the most about him, and maybe it's because I'm old, but I do believe, this is a great game and we're fortunate to play, but there's a way that you play. There's a play style. And the great ones that I've been around, and there's been a couple, they practice the right way. And if you just come out to practice, you're a random fan, you're showing up to Latrobe, you might miss this, or you might not look into this the way I do. But when this guy catches the ball, he finishes every single time. And there's just something really that melts my heart because it's the love of the game. And even though you would think we're all, most of us grew up dreaming about playing this, not everybody loves football on the same level. But I think you demonstrate how much you love football by the way that you do things when you're not expected to. And it's the professionalism that he shows. I was struck the first time I called him. I was driving down the 101 out in L.A.
Slight flex.
No, it's just a freeway out in L.A.
Where were you driving?
I can't remember what I was doing. I was going in the city for some reason. What was I driving? I was driving the only car I own, the Range Rover. And I had a conversation with him. And he was saying, yes, sir, a few times. And I was like, is that because I'm in my 40s? Or it's just the way you talk? And again, another guy who used to do this all the time, one of my all-time favorite teammates, was Aaron Jones. He just was so respectful. He grew up in a military family, and I just love the way that he treated people with such respect. And there was a class about him, and DK has that. I mean, he's one of the classiest guys I've been around. And I say that not just his personality, which is really gregarious and engaging, and he's got amazing charisma, but the way that he practices, man, as a quarterback, when you're looking for guys to lead alongside you, were guys that you want to lead alongside. some of the best leaders we've had, first and foremost, lead by example. And I just love the way this guy practices. And it's just an example to all the young players who want the status and the career and the stats that he has, but don't look at the way that he trains at 6 a.m. in the morning over at UCLA, the way that he takes care of himself, and then the way that he practices are just characteristics of elite players. And everybody wants to be, like young kids now, you ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like famous. It's not like great at something, it's like famous.
Yeah.
And people in the league, I think, have that too. Young players just want to be like their name in lights. And when they're showing up this team versus that team, they want to be that player. But there's a work ethic that gets you that spot. And everything this guy has done in his career speaks for itself. But it's the little that really makes me respect him even more like that.
Appreciate that, bro.
Oh, very nice. In the off season, before DK was already signed, and you were not committed to a team. You guys were working out at San Diego, or you guys were working at UCLA,
which was hard for me already because I'm a Berkeley guy.
That's a shot right there, right?
Well, they're the baby bears, Bruins.
But did you know by that time you were going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I just really wanted to know what I was getting into. The last couple of years were tough. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we were a bad team, but there were other things that made it tough as well. And I wanted to go down the road a little bit with Pittsburgh and get to know Mike and get to know Arthur. And then obviously, wide receiver number one, like I asked you guys when I first got to the team, like I wanted a clean slate and I wanted to give everybody a clean slate. Like I had preconceived notions about yourself, about you, about Mike. But when you bring those in there, it can cloud your judgment and kind of inhibit your curiosity to get to know people. So I just wanted to get to know DK and work out with him and see what he was all about, and just throw to him and see if that got the juices going a little bit, because I love this game and I don't need it. I've had a 20-year career. I've had a lot of success, accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. But I fell in love with this game when I was 5 years old. And I wanted to get that love back to where I felt like it should be in the twilight of my career. And so I wanted to see what it felt like to go out there on the field and work out and throw with an elite player like this. And it didn't hurt. Didn't hurt at all. I feel like me and others said stuff in the media. How did you take that? Well, I think there's a great quote in a TV show that I enjoyed called Ted Lasso, where Ted's in the bar and the previous owner, who broke up with, his wife, cheated on her, is kind of being asked. He's being an ass to his ex-wife. He's being derogatory about the team. He's going to the bar that everybody goes to and, just greasing people to get them to like him and stuff. And he basically, him and Ted have a dart off, and Ted talks about, one of his favorite quotes, be curious, not judgmental. And I think, that's kind of how I wanted to approach this season. And anybody that say anything, I try and put myself in their shoes as much as possible. And I respect the hell out of you, and what you've accomplished in the game and your leadership from afar. It seems like you're the type of leader that I'd want to play with. So when you said that, I didn't take offense to that at all. I said, yeah, I totally understand. But just like when there's narratives out there that I don't feel like reflect my character, I usually say, and like I said to Terry Bradshaw, I said, I think if you get to know me, you would have a different opinion of me. Yeah. Because people have an opinion based on what they've seen, whether it's documentaries about me or when I talk about plant medicine or going to the darkness doing a retreat. They have an idea about what that means. And a lot of it is fear-based because they could never picture themselves doing that, or doing plant medicine and having a hallucinogenic experience is scary to them. And I totally understand and respect that. But what people say about me has not actually really usually nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. It's a mirror often for them to kind of look at areas in their own life. And I never got offended by it. I was actually more like excited to get to know you guys, thinking that if you got to know me and you gave me a chance to have a clean slate, that I think you'd enjoy the person you get to meet.
I appreciate that.
I mean, Deshaun's working out with me. Deshaun says I should be in a retirement home. I'm sitting in the gym one day, and I just like messing with people all the time. So there's a guy walking by. I stick out my leg to trip him. I didn't know it was Deshaun. Then Deshaun takes a picture of me and posts it. I knew who Deshaun Elliott was. I didn't know the face to the name.
Oh, wow.
So guys,
Wow.
the trainer is like, do you know who that was? I was like, who's that? That rookie? That's Deshaun Elliott. That was Deshaun Elliott?
Oh, my gosh.
And then I met, those 3 days of minicamp, Deshaun came up to me in the locker room and said some really nice things after. He said,
Yeah.
my girl said I was going to like you. And, I didn't want to give you a chance, but I'm really glad you're here. And that meant the world to me. To have
Why
him
was
say
this
that to
girl
me.
saying that she was going to get to like you?
I don't know. She was just a fan, I guess. She thought he was, a little off by saying what he said. That maybe he should give me a chance.
I will say, and this is the last question dedicated to this, but in the off season, you were very vocal about, you have personal matters and you wanted to keep that separate. I kind of felt bad for that moment, personally, because you asked for privacy and you're not always given to that. I just think in this climate today, it's not respected and not enough people respect what other people are going through. Because of information is given so quickly, we don't get a chance to really give anybody privacy.
Mm-hmm. I think there's an entitlement to that information that people have, that they feel like they're owed that information. And most of my career, the title of the documentary that I didn't pick was Enigma. And
you didn't choose that?
No, I didn't choose that.
You didn't want
that. No. But being an enigma means that there's just unknowns. There's a mystery almost to it. I haven't done that as a way to garner more attention, which is like a narrative around me that I'm attention seeking in my life. I've actually shared more in the last few years. The first 10 years of my career, I didn't want to talk about anything. I was having issues with my family that I thought was appropriate to keep private.
Yeah.
Although I dated high profile people, I, for the most part, wanted to keep that private. And that's just, I saw what Brett did in Green Bay. He was very public about his struggles and different things. And I just have always wanted to keep a separation between personal and private and public life. And the stuff I was going through this off season, outside of my marriage, was very difficult things. And out of respect for those people going through those things who are dear to my life, I didn't want to blast their information out there. They didn't want their information blasted out there. Some of them hadn't even told people outside of their innermost circle. I wasn't going to put their information out there for the world to see and to digest. And is that worthy to take time? And, and even though there were narratives out there, I was holding teams hostage or this and that. I told every team that I talked to that I'm not making a decision right now. I'm taking care of my people. And when a time comes where I feel like they're in a better place, then I can give you a decision. If you need to move on, I told some Mike Tomlin. Mike and I had super honest conversations. If you need to move on, love and respect to you. I've really enjoyed these conversations. You have a friend now for life because of the way you treated me. If you need to move on, I totally understand and respect it. But out of respect for this process and what my people are going through, I can't fully commit to the team in this moment. And I don't want to be a guy who's signed to the roster in April and not going to be there at all, because that would have been the reality.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
As older guys and as leaders and as, high profile guys, any advice you would give to a younger guy who has to deal with media and, balancing the NFL life?
My only advice would be to try to stay away from it as much as possible, because I've been off social media for a couple years now, and just getting away from the false reality that it gives you. I think it just opens up your mind to, who you really are as a person or who you really want to be. And I think it just attracts the genuine people that are meant to be in your life. And you get to focus on what you really want to accomplish. I've been so happy just waking up, working out, going to practice, being around y'all, not looking on my phone, scrolling. I think it just disconnects me from what's going on the outside world. And it just really puts you where your feet are. I found myself last year coming in the receiver meetings, and they're saying, oh, did you see so-and-so, and telling like what happened that they found out on social media. I was like, no, when did that happen? I was like, bro, you really are like disconnected from the world. And I felt good about it because it's like, I'm not like the norm right now. I'm an outlier in the world right now. And this is one piece of advice. Stay away from it as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's great advice. I have nothing to add to that. I would just say that the media can be a tool to get your narrative out there. What is the narrative that you want to be out there? I think there's power in controlling the narrative. There's the negative side of that is allowing the ego to kind of run wild with that. Because you have to have an ego to do what we do, but a healthy ego doesn't need the instant gratification that comes from media stories or the dopamine hits from social media likes or different things. And I think you just got to be really smart about how much time you're spending that. That's the best advice is to just stay off it. But you have to interact with the media on some level, and what's the message that you want out there, and how can you best convey that, by saying as little as possible.
All right, we've gotten very deep. Let's flip it a little bit.
Y'all got some off around this motherfucker?
Huh?
Nigga, bugs are...
There are bugs.
There's
Bro,
way too many bugs.
I know.
I'm over here been shaking.
You used to that. You from Ole Miss. I mean, you from Mississippi.
Ole Miss is the college, but
I said
I get what you
Mississippi.
said.
I fixed it.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about,
You good.
you guys, you came from Seattle. You started in Green Bay. Now here in Pittsburgh, what's it like with that transition?
I mean, I'm having a blast. I know you are too. I think people around the league that have been around for a while know that there's a few of those special, I call them cornerstone franchises of the league, and they all have similar characteristics where they have very loyal fan bases who are. I was talking on the radio with the radio guys yesterday, I think it was, and they said, "What's the similarities between Green Bay and Pittsburgh fan base?" I said, "I think in both places there's a positive spin to the fandom where we love you. You're our guy. You're once a Steeler, always Steeler. Once a Packer, always a Packer. But we don't hate you if it goes bad. We want you to do well. We expect greatness because we've had 6 Super Bowls here, 4 in Green Bay, 13 championships in Green Bay, counting the World Championships. But they're never going to obliterate you. They're never going to just absolutely hate you because you're wearing the colors. There's something special about the connection between the city and the team. Green Bay is a smaller town. We're a town of about 100,000 out there. 80,000 Phil Lambeau. There's a 30-year waiting list. It's a special place to play. The hallowed grounds of Lambeau Field. Now, obviously, it's gotten improvements, gotten, luxury boxes and up-to-date stuff. And, I leave and they get underground parking and the locker room gets
You've talked about the underground parking.
Underground parking. They promised it back in like 2012. Man. But there's the expectation to win. It's not everywhere. I think a lot of teams would be happy being in the mix or making a playoffs every now and then. But when you add an organization that has a history of winning, it's just a different feel. It's a way different feel. And I think you walk in the door at 1265 Lombardi, at Latrobe here, at Southside, or going to Acrisure Stadium, and you just feel that there's a way to conduct yourself to honor the greats who played before you.
Yeah, and I would just say the same thing. I've been having a blast. Never did a destination camp. It was my first time, and I'm
what better destination?
Yeah.
Exactly. Cornfields in the background.
Except for bugs, yeah.
Right, exactly. But no, man, I feel blessed just to have 2 great coaches. My short career with Pete and now Mike T. And then just the players that I've been around, like yourself, A-Rod, Russ, Bobby, Tyler Lockett, just to name a few. But I mean, I'm just taking this one day at a time. But like Aaron said, I'm just having a blast here. Happy to be here, and I'm looking to put up, whatever to win as many games as we can. So, yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here.
I love that. Connor wanted me to mention this. I see this on the rundown. Connor told me to ask about your dog.
I think he's sucking up. He wants to this year.
I love my dog. I'm obsessed with. I got a husky. I found him online. Went and picked him up in Iowa. Always wanted a dog that was my own, and I'm obsessed with him. His name's Apollo, and I'm going to see him tomorrow. I cannot freaking wait.
Is the shedding bad with him though?
Who gives a shit?
Okay. Sometimes the wife doesn't love the shedding. My dog sheds too much.
No, man, I'd rather have dog hair around than no dog.
Talk about the vibe with the offensive group now. You know, you two are like the older vets of the group. And how's it been adjusting to them?
When I first came here, I didn't want to step on any toes or try to insert myself too quick, into whatever, culture was already set here. So this is probably the first week where I've really started to, pull guys aside and start to saying something. But yeah, whooping you in cars, guys. But no, I haven't really tried to, insert myself. But like Aaron said, man, with my practice habits, I try to lead by example as much as I can.
You do.
With how I practice, how I take notes in meetings, or how I wake up and go work out, or try to be on time for meetings, or being on time for meetings. But yeah, I'm trying to establish that culture first before I start vocally speaking, or pulling guys aside or critiquing them on anything that I see.
Yeah, one thing that's wild to me in the league is when you have established vets in the room and young players that don't follow their lead, because there's got to be a reason why DK has been in the league the years he's been in and had the success that he's had. So if I'm a first-year player, second-year player, I'm watching everything that DK does, how he finishes, how he runs route, how he communicates with me, what's he like in the huddle, what's he like in the routes on air. How does he go about his business in the weight room? I would be tailing his ass and doing exactly what he's doing because he is a great professional. And I always am amazed when guys don't maybe get those clues, because I think and I would guess you would feel the same, there's an onus on the veteran player in the room to kind of teach the young guys how to do things. And it doesn't mean you're talking to them all the time. It's just the way you go about your business. For anybody for Calvin, for Roman, any of our young players to not go, man, I need to be doing that because DK does that, to me would be wild. So I think that there's a responsibility of leadership that we understand, without having to say anything. Now, some of the rooms, have a lot of young players, like the offensive line room. We got Oos, but he's been hurt. So we got a lot of younger players playing. And I'd like to see those guys keep to step up their leadership, because leadership goes hand in hand with production in this league. And the more production you have, the more leadership opportunities that you have. And it doesn't all have to be rah, loud, ripping guys' ass. Sometimes it can just be your play style. So I'd love to see both, two of our studs inside, Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick, keep stepping up their leadership because they have the opportunity, because their production last year warrants a voice. And DK can say whatever he wants because he's DK Metcalf. He's accomplished a lot in this league, and he's a true professional. I can say what I want because I've been around forever and had success. But when we're going to take off as an offense is when those young guys in second, third, and fourth year start to figure it out and realize, oh, I can be a leader, and it doesn't mean I got to step outside of myself personality-wise, but maybe just give a little bit more to this thing. I think it's gonna help us take off. And I'm talking about guys like Jalen Warren and Kenny G and your brother who does everything right, and cares about it so much, and Darnell and Muth, and Broad stepping up and being the stud that he is. When those guys really tap into their power, and I think we've seen some growth with those guys, then we have the opportunity to be a special offense.
Funny you bring up Frazier. We had him on yesterday. And he talked about how he had to tell you that he's got the calls from now on.
I love it. I haven't had a center make calls before. I mean, and he's a smart dude. They've had a lot of freedom last year, and I want to take some of that. Because I can, but also it kind of messes me up.
Yeah.
Because for 17 years starting, I've had the calls. And it's nice to have some help. It really is. I don't need to usurp that control from him. But sometimes he needs to trust me that I might see it a little better with my years of wisdom and my grades and my experience than maybe what Pat told him to do on this specific play. But I love having him in there. He's a real steady guy. Again, I would just love to see him use that voice. I always tell him, I said, and maybe this doesn't hit the same, but for me it does. I guess I'm old school, but I said, nobody can whip you up front. Like, you could whoop everybody up front. He's a wrestler. I'm talking about on the offensive side of the ball. Offensive side of the ball. I think he'd have a good chance of whipping everybody.
Okay.
DK didn't seem to like that.
Yeah.
No,
I'm talking about the line.
Oh, you're talking about him.
I thought he was talking about me. So I
Everything's
thought
not
about
about
the
you,
line.
bro.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about you and your money. Yeah. But when you have that knowledge, like, again, I'm gonna put words in DK's mouth, but if DK pops off on somebody, which I give him full reign to do and I encourage him to, nobody can whip DK. I mean, I don't know if anybody would look over DK and go, I might test him. There's something to that where you have the physical presence. And I'm not saying that you're bullying people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm just saying that conflict is good.
Very
And for
good.
you to jump on somebody's ass who might be lagging back to the huddle or not as focused, he has every right to do that because he balled out and he's the smartest dude on the line. And one really important moment, I think, was, I said this, I was telling a friend this the other day, but Skylar got knocked down early in camp. And I walked out there like, what the hell just happened? I looked back and nobody was walking out there. And I told the line, don't you ever let that happen again. I said, we got to protect each other. And you guys are the policemen out there on the field. You're the big brothers out there. You protect everybody from DK to me to whoever's in there quarterback or whoever's in there running back. I don't care if it's preseason, practice, whatever. You got to protect them. And the next time something happened about a week later, what happened? Zach was in there. Pat was in there. If Zach's in there, Mason's in there.
Yep.
And then I saw Troy going in there. And then Spencer, I was like, that's what it looks like. And I'm not talking about instigating fights. I'm just talking about backing your brothers up.
Right.
So they know on the field, don't fuck with us. I feel something powerful with that.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about training camp. We're here. First day, first play. You throw a pick to Patrick Queen. Was that on purpose?
Sometimes you just got to get him out the way. You know? I wish I could say that was on purpose.
But he did say he's tired of you throwing the no looks because you keep testing him. But explain the no look.
But you don't look at where you're throwing. Like I had one today. Kenny dropped it. It popped in the air twice, and Jalen picked it off. But I was looking inside, and TJ was out there in space, and I was just looking inside. Darnell went down the middle, and I knew Kenny was wide ass open over there. I just threw it out to Kenny. Kenny, I was looking at him, so he didn't think I saw him. But I told Kenny, I said, I see you. Okay? Just trust me. I was looking inside. I threw it out to Kenny. He was doing a little up and back when he was wide open. He turned around, the ball popped off his chest.
Yeah.
But I watched Brett Favre do that for 3 years. And so, just like I said earlier about watching the guy in your room, I was like, anything that he could do that I couldn't, I practiced the hell out of it. So I'd be in scout team on a Saturday when they just said, throw picks. So this is my rookie year, throw picks it's feel good Saturday. Just throw it to the defense. We're out there and jog through. I said, I ain't doing it. So I went out there and I was throwing no looks all over the place. And they finally, Mike Sherman had to say, hey, you tell 12 to cut that shit out. I said, well, tell him I'm not throwing any picks out there. I'd rather dirty in the ground than throwing picks out here. This is bad. That's bad habits to do. So 100%. I started doing it my rookie year. And you just, you find time for it. And there's been other guys who that's good. I always said Matt Stafford was and is, one of the better ones in the league at doing that. And him and I have been doing that for a long, long time. But it's, and when zone coverages, you're trying to move guys, you got to look opposite and trust throwing behind them. And I tell these guys, and I mess with the quarterbacks from doing spot throws and stuff, don't take your eyes off me. I might be looking over here, but the ball's going over there, or vice versa, And I know it's tough on the receivers and stuff, but we've had success over the years doing that.
All right, I'm going to move to the defensive side of the ball. We bring in Slay, bring in Jalen Ramsey. What's it like for you to compete against those two?
Every day is always.
I also talked to Slay. He said y'all had to come to terms with the beef y'all had.
Oh yeah, we did. He met my
You
family.
guys had beef?
I mean, no, I just got on his ass one game. That was it.
He remembers it too. He said
Oh
he
yeah,
got
I
it. He said
remember
he
it
got it.
vividly. COVID year, I was going in the locker room and Brandon Graham was talking smack going in the locker room.
That's exactly
That's
what he
exactly
said.
what he
That's the
said.
exact
And
story.
we lined up first play. I said, 55 got you this. So get ready. He was like, what? He was confused because he didn't know what I was talking about. And so,
Oh, it
yeah.
wasn't even about him.
Nah,
You
he
and BG
inherited it.
got it.
Yeah, he inherited it because I'm not on the
And
whole
Slay
line.
said he was just laughing because he was talking to Lockett, and somehow that turned into him getting beat up.
Yeah. So I came off blocking his ass the whole game. But no, man, Slay is a great competitor. I love going against him. JPJ, Jalen, even Deshaun, Juan Thornhill, PQ, Peyton Wilson chase me down every time I catch the ball.
He does try
fast.
to every
Yes.
time, doesn't he? I noticed that.
I mean, I love that. Love going to practice with them because I know once I step on the field on Sunday, I've already gone against the best in my eyes. Because if I go against those three at practice every day, then I have no choice but to get better. So that's the way I look at it. And I mean, it's been some battles on the field. Like today, Jalen, we're doing a stalking drill, and Jalen acted like he was going to juke me and tried to run me over. So I was mad the rest of practice. so I was telling Jalen, like, that was a good job, but just know I'm on your ass now.
Yep.
But no, man, it's like that competitive spirit on the field, and then we come off the field and we having lunch together, or we playing cards together, we sitting playing video games. Like that's
Yeah, I love that.
yeah, I love that. Like after practice, after you know, fighting against your brother at practice, you know it's all love when you get off the field. Same with Herbig. Like me and him talk back all day, and I love it.
We heard YouTube been going at it.
Yeah, Herbig he was talking a lot of shit today. He was just like, you had to go to discount double check and
He's a one-trick pony.
He's not. He don't like that. He didn't like that. He did not like that.
When I said that to him the other day, I saw a gut under his skin. So you know, he did. Okay, I got you. I got you. One-trick pony.
DK, I'm curious. We've heard you talk about to Mike Tomlin a little bit. What's your first impression of him, and how's your first training camp going with him?
Anytime he talks, I always got a notepad in the
Favorite Tomlinism?
Favorite Tomlin is, I'm only here for the get better. That's it. Like I think I resonate with that because I'm only here to get better. Trying to fit 8 pounds in a 5-pound bag. Like I'm always writing down his quotes. But like I said, man, it's him and Pete are my favorite coaches that I've had my whole life because they give you reign to be yourself, and you know they know how to bring you in sometimes when you're probably going a little too far, but they're always also very honest with you, and that's one thing I can't be mad at when somebody tells me the truth because you know that means they care about you, they care about your well-being, they care about you as a person. So I mean I have no ill will towards that somebody telling me the truth, but yeah, I mean I love sending team meetings and all right, ready, break, and or all right, good morning, man, and you know it's always a quote or a nugget that's gonna get me through the day. But yeah, Mike T's been nothing but amazing.
what about you? What's it like with Mike T and you?
It took me, we were in our third week here. It took me till the end of last week to realize what that shirt meant.
Which one?
Don't get beat to the flash.
DBTTP.
Because he's always saying that, but I was like, what? I don't know. What is that acronym for? But I told Mike I wish I'd had him for 15 years of my career, you know? And that's no shot to anybody I had. I mean, Mike McCarthy and I were real close, still are. And I love Mike. But I wish I could have played 30 and had 15. I had 13 with Mike, I think. McCarthy would have been cool to have 13 with Mike Tomlin. Just there's no substitute for that leadership in front of a meeting. And the biggest compliment I can give him, and that made me feel the best, was every time we talked, beginning in March, never once felt like it was coach to player. And I corrected the radio guy yesterday when he mentioned that because I've said that before, but what I meant was that's a lot of conversations you have with coaches. It always feels like there's maybe an agenda or an angle. And maybe it's not nefarious at all, or maybe it's kind of on the back burner, but it always kind of feels like there's something that they're trying to glean information-wise or they want you to do. Never once did Mike ever make me feel like that. And just really appreciate that. He always remembered things like names of people because I was real honest about my situation. And there was a cone of silence between our conversations about what I was telling him. And he would remember things and ask about people that I was telling him about. And that just meant the world to me. So I never felt like I was talking to a friend, not like a coach who was trying to get me to make a decision. Like, hey, how's this person? But also, when you coming in? Never once did it ever feel like that. And he just wanted to get to know me. And I just appreciated that. I felt like I had a clean slate with him. And he did his references. He talked to people that I've been around. But I just always appreciate the way they talked to me on the phone.
I love the history of this game. And you can't tell this history without telling what you did in the Super Bowl versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. You want to talk about those memories?
Yeah, whatever you want. I remember them all.
What was that game like?
Oh, it was a wild, I've never watched the film back of it.
You've never watched the film back of it?
Never watched the film back of it. I got it all in my mind. Like I could talk about all the plays, but it was surreal for sure. From the beginning when we walk out to the coin toss and the photographers are having a fight on the ground because one guy got the perfect shot and the other guy, and they're flipping each other off and taking pictures of each other, and they're fighting right there, literally where we're waiting during the TV timeout to do the coin toss.
Yeah.
And then Christina Aguilera sang the anthem and screwed it up. That's how we start the game, And then, I felt like I needed a play to get going. And we called one of our screens, which was like a flow screen, like fullback in the flat, halfback with the line going in an L call, and the halfback kind of hitting the end and turning in for a screen. It was 3rd and 1. But I saw Jordy out there on William Gay one-on-one, and I gave him a little head tap, and that meant go deep, homie. And that one play kind of got me going and got me settled in. And from that point forward, I played as good as I played arguably one of my best games of my career in the divisional round at Arizona or at Atlanta.
The Arizona game was special too.
No, Arizona, but at Atlanta, I was like 31 or 36, but I got out of like 4 sacks that should have been dead to right sacks. John Abraham had me twice, and I just could not miss. I mean, I was rolling right and putting the ball on the money. It's just one of those nights where you're just such in the flow state or the zone. But I felt almost as good in the game against Pittsburgh and didn't feel like I missed hardly any throws. But more than that, like late, the plays that people forget about, Pittsburgh was coming all the way back. We were up 28-25, and I just hit – it was 21-17. Mendenhall fumbled. We got the ball back, and we had a crucial 3rd down at about the 40-yard line. And we've been waiting all game for them to bring what we called flame, which was will and weak corner. And they would roll the coverage behind it, and it would be your buddy, your safety guard, and Jordy Nelson. And all week we talked about making our Ringo call in that check. And sure enough, we long counted him, got him to show it, made the Ringo call. Jordy was running a basic on the backside, and I came up off my back foot and threw a strike to him, and he rolled around the other side of the field, and Greg got a good block and got inside the 10, and then I hit Greg for a touchdown to put us up by 28-17. But that was like one of those fun plays where you're so in the zone that you just anticipated what was coming. And, we dropped like 9 balls that game, and it could have been a lot worse. But that was a fun one. I was teasing Ike because a big play when they came down and scored and got the 2-point to make it 28-25. It was 3rd and 10 backed up, and we ran Butcher. And they ran 2-man, and Greg was in the slot and didn't double up. He just ran straight down the middle, and Ike was on him. And from behind, you can tell that Ike gets just like the end of his finger on the ball. But I threw a laser down the middle, and Greg caught it for a big gain that kind of allowed us to keep a drive going. And then I had a back shoulder, and then we ended up getting a field goal and giving it back with like a minute left or something. But, yeah, that was special. But the whole thing is, the crazy thing about it is when you win the Super Bowl, and I was in my 6th year, you just think, it's going to be like this every year. Because we won our last 2 of the season. We beat the Giants and beat Chicago. Then we won 4 playoff games, and we start the next year 13-0. So we won 19 games in a row. And you just think, this is how it's going to be every year. We're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to make, we're going to, and then to never get back and to lose 4 NFC Championship games, was a tough stretch for sure.
I don't even like bringing up bad news. I wasn't even part of the team then. I was actually at that game when I was watching it, and I was cheering on the Steelers.
I'm sure you were.
But let's talk about the other Pittsburgh-Green Bay game here in Pittsburgh, the barn burner between you and Ben.
You weren't even there for that one.
I watched that game. That was
2009.
That was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Mike T doing an onside kick. Did you expect someone to onside kick?
I'm telling you, there's no greater compliment than to onside kick when you're ahead.
Yeah.
But
you guys were going back and
what
forth.
I
that
remember
game.
about that game was first drive, we're backed up, and we run wide shallow cross, and Lawrence Timmons, they run middle dog. You saw he run middle dog with a cross dog. And he hit me right under the chin when you could actually hit quarterbacks back then. And I was like, man, it's going to be a long game. But we hit a ton of huge plays. I hit Greg down the middle for 85 for a touchdown. But late in that game, they kicked the onside kick, and we were down by 2, and we drove down into field goal range, and we had 3rd and 14, and we ran one of our staples, which was double shake. And up till that point, they had said, 08, we were 6-10. I didn't have like a fourth quarter comeback in the first game of the year. I hit Greg for a touchdown against Chicago to beat them. Okay, we didn't have a signature win. So now we're playing the vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz.
Oh, God.
With the helicopter going by. We're down by 2, they onside kick it.
Yeah.
That's the greatest compliment you can give an offense and opposing quarterback. So we get the ball back, we're driving down. But actually it was recovered by Pittsburgh, but I think they recovered too early. Right?
Yep.
They touched it too early. So we get the ball back, we're driving down, we're in field goal range. Mason, great kicker, we're down by 2. We run double shake, which is one of our base concepts. Middle read by 2, and the outside guys are running shakes. And I like double hitched it and threw it kind of high to James Jones. He made this beautiful catch, runs it in. We run this like crazy 2-point play. We hit that. Now we're up 6. I'm like, minute 25 left. This is my signature win here, And they hit a couple 4th downs. Like Heath caught one, I think Hines caught one. But we still had them like on the 20-ish, 25, I think, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy throw either.
With no time on the clock. And for whatever reason, the widest guy to the boundary lost vision and bent through a perfect pass to Mike Wallace. And back then it was the old extra points too. So it's a gimme. It's a 99 percenter, I think, a 98 percenter. That was a tough ride home for sure because I think I threw for like 385 and 4 touchdowns and we lost the game. That's like.
So how do you eat that? Like you go off like that?
Well, I go back and I think I was 28 of 45 or something like that.
It was the question you asked. That's why he made that face.
Well, I just think let's say like a defensive player has like 3 sacks, or you go for like 500 yards.
That's what I'm saying. I threw for 385, but I had 17 incompletions, so I missed some stuff. Some of them probably on 3rd down. I think we kicked a couple field goals. So like, you're always searching for the perfect game. I think you got to be the first point in being a great player is you got to be self-critical. I don't think you need to like never be satisfied with the performance, but being self-critical is the way to growth. So I think I had Tom Clements, a Pittsburgh guy, and he would grade me low all the time on like 100 quarterback rating. So my rating that game, I'm sure, was over 100, and I think I probably got a minus performance because he dinged me on 4 footwork things and 3 minus decisions and 2 ball placement stuff. And so I was always searching for the perfect game. Probably the only time he gave me a positive performance was in Atlanta in the 2010 playoffs because he could not give me a positive, I guess.
We see a lot of guys ask you a lot of questions throughout training camp and get to know you. I will say, I need to know, why are Ben Skoranek and TJ trying to copy you with your wired headphones?
The more the merrier, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your girl, Kamala, just came out and talked about, the importance of wearing wired headphones. So I think it should be a trend. You know, I was getting ripped for being old for having wired headphones, but when I saw Ben out there, not just having the wired headphones,
Why you pointing at me?
just, by people. I
okay.
wasn't saying you people or anything. I was just saying people, in general.
I thought they were cool. Okay.
But when I saw Ben with wired headphones and the water that I drink, Mountain Valley spring water, it's like what they say, right? Imitation is the highest form of flattery. And I
Right.
just felt like, man, I'm making an impact.
Didn't Ben say he stole his headphones when he went out to
He
your
did
house?
say he stole your headphones, or you
Yeah,
stole
you
his.
stole his
If you
headphones.
come by the house and leave something, ipso facto, it's mine.
All right, Aaron, give us a conspiracy theory you want to talk about.
At the last time I stayed at dorms
Right.
in Green Bay, there's a place called St. Norbert's College,
Yes.
which is this is a small Catholic college, and unfortunately, there were some suicides that happened at the dorms that we stayed at.
Yeah.
And there were rumors that it was haunted. And one night in camp, in probably, because Ruvel was there, probably 07 or 08, there was a ghost sighting in the corner of a room. And the next night, the adjacent room to that person saw a ghost in the same corner, just on the opposite side of the wall. So I think ghosts are a very interesting conspiracy that ties into being in Latrobe and being away for camp. But two different guys who hadn't talked to each other, saw a figure in the room in the same corner of adjacent rooms. That was very strange.
I did not think you were going to go ghosts on us.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What conspiracy do you think was covered?
I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole because there's a lot of things we could
What
go
do you think
down.
I do?
Yes.
But I'm just light on my feet.
You're big on like teammates being together and teammates bonding and stuff.
Yeah, remember when I called you about doing team parties? You never called me back.
I was just about to bring that up. You know, you dressed up as John Wick. I don't think you were a good John Wick, but you dressed up as John Wick.
That got me fined.
Got you fined.
Yeah. I was
Why?
unvaxxed at that party, and there was 18 other people there, all vaxxed in a 10,000 square foot warehouse. So I was obviously endangering the lives of the other 17 people at the party.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Well, but it was a good costume. I'll give you that.
I thought it was great. Thank you. Shout out Preston Smith. That was Preston Smith's dog.
For real?
And he was the photographer.
Wow.
Shout out P.
So we're going to do a Halloween party here.
Got to. We got to do a lot of parties.
Any thoughts of what we're going to dress up
I
in?
want to put DK on the party planning commission. I think
Ooh.
DK's a fun guy. He's probably got good ideas. I think he should be a part of planning where it's at or what the theme is. I'd like to do some sort of roster party would be fun. Halloween, Thanksgiving, holiday, because you can't say Christmas anymore, but holiday party.
We do a holiday party, but we can do another one.
Yeah. And I'd like to get DK involved in that because
The
he's a
party
fun
planner?
guy.
I don't think I'm involved much in this interviews or this podcast, but
Well, would you like to take over as the party planning committee?
yeah, bro. I used to throw a Halloween party in Seattle.
Did
every
you?
year. Yeah.
What was your best Halloween costume?
My best Halloween costume. Oh, I was Jimi Hendrix a couple years ago.
Oh,
We got now. This is where in the post you put in a picture of that. Is it on your social?
No, it's not. No.
DK, best play in your career.
Best play in my career, 2020 playing the Vikings. Go down, final drive, we down by 5-6, so we need a touchdown. 4th and 10, we call just like a deep shot. And Russ just throws up a prayer to me, and I come down with it. And like a couple plays later, catch a slant on the same drive.
Yeah.
And then like a couple plays later, I end up scoring a touchdown. So the touchdown would probably be my
I thought for
favorite play.
sure you were going to say
The
the
chase
pick
down.
and you running after Buda Baker.
Cause that's throwing my guy under the bus. I can't do that. my boy shouldn't have threw that pick anyway.
But that's got to be one of the most watched videos. I mean, that was
Yes.
so viral at the moment. Like, if anybody don't know what you're all about after that, they're like, damn, he's a
Yeah.
real dude. I know that everybody in Green Bay was like, damn, DK, man.
Running after the ball like that,
I just thought it was something everybody was supposed to do. Yeah.
and that's how DK is.
DK, I'm curious. What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Luke Kuechly. So we got this play on offense where it's a toss. So you got to pin the first D lineman, and then somebody has to pull around and block the linebacker. So I'm the pull around, block the linebacker guy.
Oh.
And Luke Kuechly comes around, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's sweet. Like I'm about to fit up Luke Kuechly and then drive him like 5 yards and push him at the end and talk a little smack to him. He picks me up and throws me on top of the pile.
Oh, wow.
I said, yeah, I ain't messing with him no more. It was a different type of dude. But,
Was that your rookie year? When was that?
Yes, sir.
Your
My rookie year, the second to the last game. We were at Carolina. And yeah, Luke Kuechly gave me my welcome to the NFL moment. I don't think I've had one since. I got to stay on my toes.
There's no way anybody's done that to you since.
No.
No way.
Old man, what's your welcome to the NFL moment when you were wearing leather helmets?
You're only 5 years older than him.
No.
Yeah.
He's older than that.
pretty
Yeah.
old.
I mean, he's only 5 years older than you. I mean, you're not that young.
You're not a spring chicken.
Yeah, I
yourself.
mean, you're
Yeah, you're
15. Like, it's not.
You're old. You've
21.
let yourself go to this camp.
20.
I mean, when I was growing up, I was a Niner fan, so my favorite players were Montana, Rice, and Young. Those guys retired. Then my favorite player was Barry Sanders. Barry, in the 90s, two of the best players in the league were Barry Sanders and Brett Favre. So those are my two favorite players. Then I got drafted by the Packers. So like meeting Brett Favre was definitely one of those moments. But on the field, a crazy moment for me was my first extended action. We played at Baltimore, 2005. Their starting secondary had a guy named Dale Carter. Dale used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was legendary outside corner and slot corner, man-to-man specialist. And so I was like, damn, Dale Carter's out there. That's pretty cool. I used to watch him when he was on the Chiefs. And at safety, guy you might know named Deion Sanders. And we were down 41-3. And they said, all right, Rook, get in there. All right, it's going bad, but try not to embarrass myself too much, which I did. But after the third quarter, as we flipped fields, we were like on the plus 20. I walked the 20 to the 20 with Deion Sanders. And I'm just a lover of the history of the game. And that was such a cool moment for me to just be like, man, I've been a fan of yours since I was a kid and loved your career and loved you on the Niners, because people forget he was on the Niners, for a while and helped them win a championship. But that was like such a wild moment, like a pinch you, like I'm sharing the field. And I thought it was cool with Dale Carter. Like, shout out Dale Carter. Like, you had a great career. But like, more people know who Deion Sanders is. But just like, I'm on the field in an NFL game on Monday Night Football, walking the 20 to the 20 with Deion Sanders. I'm living out my dream. That's pretty cool. No, I threw a pick on that drive. And also, Adalius Thomas, God, I hope I'm not screwing his name up. I think it's Adalius Thomas, strip sacked me for a touchdown as well. We lost 51-3. But that was a cool moment. The Deion part.
Last question for me. What can people expect from this team?
One thing we're going to do is play hard. I think in my career, I've never been a part of a team with so much cohesion on both sides of the ball. Like how we share a locker room with some of the defensive players. O-lines.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, O-line. I go in the O-line room and chill with them a lot. I think I've just never been a part of a team that's this close-knit since college. So I think we're going to play hard for each other. I think that's going to, get us out of a lot of stadiums, along with the talented people that we got on the roster. I think, a lot of people may be looking at us like, oh, what are they going to do? It's a big question mark. But, they can just wait and see what we do, because I think we're going to do some special things this year. Looking forward to it, and, maybe we can run it back.
Maybe.
Wow, you got him at a maybe?
I told you it's just a massage.
Big props. Big props.
I'll just echo that. We were talking with Mike that one night about what makes a championship team. And in all my years in Green Bay, we had some great teams. But the only team that won it was not the most talented. The most talented team was 2011. Now, I know we were ranked lower on defense, but our skill players, when you could have a Randall Cobb and and him be, the fifth wide receiver in the room. He got some special stuff, and we had obviously a great tight end, Jermichael Finley. But 2010, we really loved each other, and we hung out. And guys, the road was always dinner with the boys, like big group, and it was intermixed. It was O-line, D-line, it was DBs, receivers. Everybody was always hanging out. When we had get-togethers, everybody went. We had like a joke, the team that drinks together wins together. That's what we used to say, because we always hung out together. And we weren't the most talented team. We had a ragtag group of guys, honestly. We had a guy named Heyward Green you'd probably never heard of. I mean, Heyward was cut from the Jets, was driving his car back to Mississippi and got a call, hey, we're picking you up. Heyward Green had one of the most influential plays in the Super Bowl. He hit Ben's arm when Ben was throwing a deep shot to, I think it was to Wallace. Nick Collins picked it off, ran it back for a touchdown. And you can't write the history of our Super Bowl win in 2010 without talking about Heyward Green. We had a guy named Matt Wilhelm. And again, you probably don't know who Matt Wilhelm was. Matt Wilhelm was our special teams captain who came in off the street and changed the culture of special teams and led by example and with his words. And we had so many of those guys who just played their role so well. Tom Crabtree was our tight end, just a try-hard blocker from, I think he went to Miami, Ohio, small school guy who just came in and did his job as a Y on the ball tight end, caught a touchdown against Philly in the division, the wild card round, and had one of the bigger plays in the Super Bowl, which wasn't a touchdown to Greg Jennings or a touchdown to Jordy Nelson or a strip sack. It was 3rd down and 4 from the 6-yard line, and he caught a 2-yard pass that kept the clock going and ran 40 seconds off the clock on a wide pass out of the flat that he snagged. Tom was we just guys knew their roles and embraced it. Instead of like putting your ego out front and saying, I need to have more plays or I need more shots or more targets, guys just said, I'm going to do what's right for this team. And James Starks was our running back. James was on the PUP the first 10 weeks of the season. Nobody knew who this kid from Buffalo was. Then he goes out and rushed for 126 yards in the wild card round of the playoffs. But the whole root of it was we just loved each other. 11, we were a better team. 14, we were a better team. 20 and 21 were more talented teams than those teams. But the chemistry that we had with that 2010 team is why we won. And I see, like DK says, I see the makings of special chemistry. We'll see if it comes together once we break here and go to Southside. But I see guys that actually really enjoy hanging out with each other, which unfortunately I think is more of a rarity in the league today.
Last thing, this is more of just say
last
thank you.
before.
Last thing right here, because I have to mention this.
You have to do your monologue.
I just say
Do
thank
we have
you.
a prompter?
I just say thank you for recommending that quote to post.
That wasn't me.
But yeah, just thank you for that. But it was a great quote.
What is the quote?
It's
from Batman.
It is from Batman. It is either
You
you
either-
die a hero
Or
or you live to see yourself become a villain. Is that right?
Harvey Dent.
Yes. Thank you for that one. But
wasn't me.
thank you. All right, but I want to say thank you guys for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for taking time.
Thanks, guys.
And that's another episode of Not Just Football. Appreciate it.